Hey, Josh.
Hey, man, how's it going?
I'm doing well. Congrats, I guess, on the promotion as well up at over there at SB Nation's Maize and Brew, huh?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
What's going on in Ann Arbor? I know right now they're talking about a noon press conference tomorrow. Has that been confirmed? What's the deal?
As far as I know, I haven't received any official word from the university yet. I assume that's probably going to come tomorrow. But as far as I know, that's the word right now is a noon presser up at Michigan. So we'll see what happens.
What's the very latest on what are you hearing about staff? What are you hearing? In terms of setup now, how do you view, I guess, what the next step would be?
Well, I think, first obviously would be to have that introductory press conference. I know a lot of people are still kind of timid, considering what happened in 2011, that, there were claims that Harbaugh briefly accepted the Michigan job in 2011 and then flaked to San Francisco. But I think that's the first major hump is to, get that presser out of the way. And then I think the next step is obviously staff. There was a report that came out over the weekend, maybe early week, that Florida interim head coach DJ Durkin was waiting to see whether Harbaugh would take the job before committing to Michigan, and I know he was a candidate for Texas A&M's defensive coordinator position as well. So the fact that he's letting that A&M position sit on the table right now in hopes that Harbaugh comes to Michigan is kind of telling in that way, in that sense too. So I think right now we'll just kind of see how everything kind of shapes up. But he's one of the big names right now that are actually floating out there publicly.
What does this do for recruiting? And do you think a guy like Mikey Weber at Cass Tech actually would call Urban Meyer and say, you know what, I'm staying in state. How can you blame me? Even though he did verbally commit to Ohio State.
I think, the Harbaugh name alone is huge. I think it's not only just a regional shockwave. I think it's a national shockwave on so many levels. Michigan, getting this hire done is huge. It's shaking the NFL because he was such a successful guy in San Francisco. And, it's shaking the college level too, because it's extremely rare, almost impossible to pull a guy that's that successful in the NFL back, to the college ranks. So, as far as a guy like Mikey Weber, I'm not sure. I think, he might listen to Harbaugh, but I don't know. I think he seems firmly planted with the Buckeyes right now. I know they've been recruiting him hard ever since, Michigan was out there as well with the offer. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I definitely think, this last month until National Signing Day, it's definitely going to be a rush. Like I said, the name alone, Harbaugh's name alone, will definitely draw some interest, and I think he and his potential staff will draw in some nice names to close this class up.
Joshua, certainly money talks, and if it's 6 at 48, 6 at 49, as John U. Bacon told Ryan Enrico earlier today, if he's going to be the highest paid football coach at any level, obviously that's huge, and I think that would be the narrative for some. But I think you know this, and you've been writing about this. There is something to him coming home, similar to the LeBron to Cleveland thing, isn't there?
Yeah, I've kind of drawn that comparison. It seems a lot like the LeBron scenario. A lot of local people, local bloggers have been saying, this is more than a shot. Michigan's got a really good chance here, and a lot of the national guys were kind of casting it aside, and Michigan gets their guys. So, I think there's a lot more to the money. I think, obviously, right now, if you're going to pay a guy who's successful as Harbaugh, you have to pay him market value. Maybe they kind of overinflated his price tag a little bit, but, they're in the ballpark, and it got Harbaugh interested. But I think, his connection to Bo alone was probably a huge draw. The fact that, former players wanted him there, donors wanted him there. A lot of big names wanted him to come home and fix this mess. He's, if you think about it, all the possible candidates out there, he just is the perfect fit to fix this.
Did you realize we're talking to Joshua Henschke, managing editor of SB Nation's Maize and Brew? Also, check him out at Freep.com, a contributor to the Free Press's Michigan coverage. Joshua, did you get a sense that day when Jim Hackett took over that he could pull this off? Nobody really knew who he was as he was named interim AD. What's the connection? Is it true about him and Jack Harbaugh being old friends, and that's where this started? I mean, was Hackett handpicked to get Harbaugh, or do you think he went in there and said, look, I'll keep this job by going and getting him?
I'm not sure. I don't know whether Hackett, told Mark Schlissel that, hey, I can get Harbaugh, give me a shot here. I know a lot of former people associated with the program, gave a good word for Hackett and gave him kind of a props to Schlissel that kind of put him out front. But there is a connection between him and Jack Harbaugh, and I believe, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but I know that Jack Harbaugh was an assistant coach during the time that Hackett was playing at Michigan, and I'm not sure if he was his position coach or not, but he was coaching Hackett at that time. So I'm not sure. I mean, there's definitely a connection between the Harbaughs and Hackett group. He seems like the perfect guy to get him. I mean, he saw his guy, he took his chance, and he nailed it. He deserves every ounce of credit he's getting. A lot of people had doubts that he could get the job done, considering he's never had AD experience before, compared to the last AD we had, who did not have AD experience before, and just coming off a CEO role. So this is a very, very intricate process, and I'm not sure we'll even learn half of the intricacies that went into this deal. But the Hackett, this is a home run hire. This is a stare down the pitcher, bat flip, walk off home run. I mean, there's no other words you can really describe it. It's just a fantastic job by Hackett.
All right, Josh, congrats on the promotion over there at Amazing Brew. Love your stuff at Freep.com, and we'll talk again soon.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks, Matt. Talk soon.
You got it. There he is, Joshua Henschke with us. Check out his stuff, Freep.com, and the Amazing Brew blog. Who's been well connected to things down in Ann Arbor. And it's a great day, and tomorrow's going to be amazing. And I made the joke yesterday on Twitter, and I'm going to stop joking with the fans because the social media crowd was all over me. I made a joke that, hey, Michigan sold out the basketball game because the rumor is that Harbaugh is going to speak at halftime of the Michigan-Illinois basketball game tomorrow at 3:00. And I made the joke that, half the fans that are buying tickets couldn't name 3 basketball players on the team. Everyone's like, oh, okay. Calm down, everybody. Made a joke. You're a football school. Why don't you just sell the game out anyway, the basketball game, right? But I'm going to get myself in trouble, so I'll stop. It's a huge day. Anybody that says, what's he done before? Are you joking? This is the best coach. It's one of the top 5 coaches in all of football, no matter what level. And the 49ers are absolute morons for letting him walk. Maybe Jim's tough to deal with. Maybe Jim's a weird guy. Maybe Jim can be an a-hole at times. I've dealt with a-hole coaches in the past. You know what? If they won, they stayed. They kept their jobs.